Hi, welcome to the Andrew Buckle Book Haul for this week. Got some really interesting books. I'm just going to go through some of these. Some are art books, some comic books. And the first one to go through is one that was passed to me. I wasn't going to buy it, but thought, wow, it does actually look very good. Big 52 pages, strange weird. And it's by Nick Neocleous. My apologies for saying his name wrong completely. Still. Wow, it's very impressive, this one. I really love it. And I love that you got the back. Unfortunately, of course, the trouble with white, you end up, I notice it's a bit grubby there after a while. But that's always the way. Absolutely brilliant. You should be able to find copies of this in places like Gosh and those sort of things. And of course, online as well. You can see some of the details there. This is just great. The collection, a Nerd Town story. Now, I would buy a comic that's full of the Nerd Town story. There's just so many great references. And I think we've all been there in some of these. I love this one. Well, this guy sort of says, I'll give you £5 for it. It could have been anything, couldn't it? Amazing Fantasy 15. I'll give you £5 for that. £5. Oh, it's not really worth anything. Please, let me buy it. Don't notice that it's something else. It's Action Comics #1, but it's just great. And I've seen stories similar to this before because it was in, I think it's been from another magazine, but it was just brilliant. I loved it. Really great. And again, another Nerd Town story. The artwork is first rate. Now, I will be going through this a bit more because I've got another one as well, issue 2. And that was really good as well. I think issue 1 was my favourite, but it's still, issue 2 is great, superb artwork. Fortunately, it's one of those ones where you have to turn it around like that. But this is great. So that's, now where do I put all the various things? Suddenly it all collapses on me, as usual. Strange weird. Now this is slightly smaller. This one is not a 52-page giant, it's a 35. I really love this one. Cooking with Norb. I think we've all been there when we look at that. Wash before use. Yeah, that's it, cooking, shake before use, all those sort of expressions that we're all used to, but it's just brilliant. Because, of course, you could read them in many different ways, and I'm certain there's many others. I would love to see more of those. The Tower, that was an unusual one. That was very much more an old-fashioned style, 1970s one. I think he references that at the start, that it was redrawn 1977, The Tower. You can certainly see that. But it's great, still great. Kronos, and as he says, Hourglass, A Glitch in Time. But these are great. And so I will be running through these in another quick run-through, a review of these books. Norbert there going wandering. He's got this, obviously, dubious character behind him. Now, I'm not going to go through every single one of these issues because that would take quite a while. There's 12 of them. Actually, I bought 14. Unfortunately, 2 of them, obviously, it's always away. I hadn't noticed I bought the same copy. But that's what I wanted, was because of that. Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. And I think, and I haven't read it all the way through yet, that I've got every single story related to that. Now, I could, of course, bought the Planet of the Apes archive editions. Volume 3, I believe, has got that one. But still, I really love these. And they're great stories. And the reason I'm buying more old sort of Marvel comics from the UK, because just brilliant. The black and white, obviously these were in black and white when they originally came out, so it's not such a difference in that respect. But still, these sort of ones where you've got Kazar, or whatever you want to say his name, and you've got the story there. I love that issue. That was a really good issue. And I've got it in colour, but it's just nice to see it in black and white. And it's one of these things where, though they always had this sort of thing, which was, I don't know who ever drew these things, but sometimes they were good, sometimes they were not so good. But the artwork is just first rate, really got a really great. Now, I don't know if they changed anything or anything was tweaked. Obviously, sometimes it was. The president would change occasionally. You suddenly have President Carter would be there when you think, well, hang on, it should be JFK, wasn't it? Or whatever. Also, this has got Black Panther in as well. So great little stories there. And I've got a number of these. So I've got Apes again, another one. Conquest, and these were 50p each. I love those sort of things, 50p each. Now, I did actually have them at the time, so paid 8 pence for them when they came out. Are you a Marvel Mastermind finalist? I suspect that I would be an absolute disaster if it came to Mastermind. I'd be going, no! My brain would completely, utterly evaporate at that point, which is nothing unusual. But they're still absolutely great, really, really brilliant stories. And I really genuinely, I don't know why they haven't brought them out in a collection as yet. There's no omnibus collection of Kazar. You can get them in sort of variety of different collections. But unfortunately, this one's brilliant as well. This one isn't obviously a Conquest, I don't think. but still brilliant. Mike Plug, I think that's Mike Plug artwork, and it's just great, absolutely brilliant. Someone's going to turn around and say, no, it's not Mike Plug. I'm certain it is. And something, the Zone Forbidden, or the Forbidden Zone. But these are good. I also picked up this. It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, but it still actually has some quite an unusual little, I'm not going to show anything particularly of this. You can guess what sort of stories they are. Funny half hour. Now, I remember getting these magazines or seeing them in the newsagents that when my mum worked, and this one's only 12.5 pence, number 38. And quite often, they were pretty tame stuff, but it was, I don't know. Some of the artwork was pretty good. Some of it was pretty awful. You can see some of the artwork. A lot of it, I think, must have been from like 1950s artwork. And I've seen quite a few of these online. That's why I bought it, because I've seen sort of piles of these sort of magazines. And they often go for quite a lot, weirdly. But sometimes they obviously have like Bill Ward, all various artists that are obviously considered sort of obviously top of their game. And it's, well, this one unfortunately doesn't particularly have a great range of great artists. Oh, another thing I like about these Planet of the Apes ones is they often have these. Now, Kellogg's Rice Krispies, I haven't had Kellogg's Rice Krispies for years, but still, it's nice to see the old adverts. And this one's got Frosties on the back. Obviously, they were pushing a lot of sugar. Frosties. Obviously, they thought, well, Marvel Comics fans, they must love sugar. And Blackbird, free models from Kellogg's Frosties. And oh, this one's quite good as well. You got here, Battle of the Century, Superman versus... I love that one. That was absolutely brilliant. That one goes quite a bit as well now. Oh, actually, just put those down. Just this one. You can see Marvel... Now, I've got that one, and I haven't got that one. I don't think I'll probably be guessing it, but it's always great for if you want sort of complete collection of those sort of 1970s. You can see there, Marvel Comics album enclosed, 30 pence. Marvel Comics colouring book, 30 pence. Now, I don't know if some are stories, some are not. Maybe not. I don't know. But there you can see the colouring books there. So, that was just quite great. And they've all got that one on the back, actually, for quite a run here. Oh, and there's also James Norton here as well on the back there. So that's that run of Planet of the Apes. Just put those down there. I quite like these ones. Now, I, for some weird reason, haven't bought the omnibus collection. There is an massive omnibus collection of all these Odysseys. And you can see there, adapted from a classic by Homer, reasonably famous person. The Thrills, the original classic, in the all-new comics version. And the artwork generally is often by artists I've never heard of. And I have to say, this one, there it is, you can see there, Jess Jodlerman. I can't say I know them. Maybe someone knows, but it's still fine. Absolutely. Quite often looks a bit like an artist I'm familiar with. Maybe it's... They often did that. They changed the names. You think, was that... Because it does look very familiar, the artwork. But still, there's the Odyssey. And I've bought a few over the years of these, and I really like. I bought them when they came out. Some of them, not all of them, but I pick these up if they're reasonably priced. I think, you know what, good stories. And that's the Odyssey. Now, I've got quite a few Red Sonja, or Sonia. Someone corrected me. It's Red Sonja. I guess so. I've always called Sonja. But anyway, that's just me. Now, I've been collecting these slowly but surely. They are actually quite hard to find, annoyingly. And I have fallen for it for many a time. Luckily, I paid £1 for this one. I don't mind, it's just bad. But I bought, yet again, Marvel Feature, and I tried to see that. And I thought, oh, great, I haven't got issue 2. No, it's Marvel Feature Presents. And issue 2, I just love the artwork. It's still great, and I will give this to someone. I'll just say, one of my friends who's a Marvel Comics fan as well, they I'm certain will like this good old Red Sonja story. And of course, it's also got a son of the origins of Marvel Comics, as well as the bicentennial calendar as well as quite a few other adverts in here as well. But this one, it's great. I love these stories. Recently, I've been looking on I've got the Kindle Unlimited, and it's got the special full sort of gallery editions, or whatever you want to call artist editions equivalents from Dynamite. And they are excellent. I really love those black and white ones. Unfortunately, they haven't re-released them as part of their Red Sonja 50th anniversary. Why? Likewise, the Art of Red Sonja. Why? Why not release that? Also, they're re-releasing, and I'm still not sure if I'm going to buy it, the Omnibus, which is a collection of their ones they brought out, the volumes they brought out of obviously all these ones. But they remastered the colours, and it didn't do anything for me. Now, maybe everyone has different, but for me, I thought the original colours were great. And this is one, of course, this is Red Sonja, one proper Red Sonja, not a Marvel feature. And you can see, obviously, Frank Thorne there. I loved his artwork. And just great, just stunningly brilliant stories. But then again, I'm a mega Conan fan. Solomon Kane, Cull as well. And so those gallery ones are great. I would love to see that. But also, I wish they had not... If they were going to bring out the omnibus, they'd gone for the original colours. But instead, they're bringing out again with that sort of murky, sort of coloured version they did. And also, they coloured the black and white ones. Why? Anyway, I might still buy the omnibus. I haven't decided whether that's going to be the case or not. And here's another one, Red Sonja, Sonia, whatever. Number 13, Swords Against Kranos. And again, look at that, just great. And this one's obviously John Buscema. It's obviously not Frank Thorne. And another one, it says here, Red Sonja is a gap based on a character created by Robert E. Howard. I think she featured about one book, one little short story. That was it. But of course, Roy Thomas obviously extended it far greater. I think it was Red Sonja in the original books, but obviously Red Sonja, as far as I'm concerned. I stand to be corrected on that one. But what a great cover as well. Really brilliant. Now, number 15, there's 15 comics in this series. I've struggled to even find any copies of issue 15. Anywhere. On eBay. Anywhere. Certainly not at comic conventions. Now, I've also bought I think I've got all of them, all the cat ones. I always say the cat stories. And this one is a spider stories. Now, spider super stories. They are actually very hard to find in the UK. And I have not found many at comic marts or even online. Obviously, other than in the States. But this one, I saw it and I thought, ooh, I'll have that. I think it was £5. I thought, wow, that is one. This one's based on Electric Company and Sesame Street. And the story, of course, has got the owl, which, of course, was, I think, issue 2 of Beware the Claws of the Cat. Call her the cat, and you've actually got just obviously a brief there. They made her very strong. They made etc., etc. The Law of the Claw. Another skyscraper, stick up. And you got the cat. So I haven't seen anywhere any mention that this story exists. So I was like surprised. Oh, the cat. Another story to add to my collection of, there's not many, only about 4 or 5 stories. Because there was a Marvel team up and obviously the original 4 issues, and that's it. Got that. Red Sonja again. One I haven't seen for a long time, John Byrne. Just brilliant. Marvel team up, issue 79. And I love it because it's a nice Christmas one as well, which is always good. Chris Claremont. And it's got a little story there. Merry Christmas. So if they ever bring out a Christmas special again, a Treasury Edition one, they could include this story, maybe. Unfortunately, because of Red Sonja, the licence, maybe there's an issue there. They will not bring that out. But still, if they did, there you got Red Sonja. She-Devil of the etc. So I was really pleased to pick this one up as well. So there's that. And another Red Sonja. She-Devil with a sword. Really gets quite messy because weirdly, and I do not understand why, this is volume 3. I've never understood it. So where's volume 2? Is there a volume 2? I've never seen a listing for a volume 2. I've never seen a comic for volume 2. I've got volume 1s, the ones I've just shown, and I've got this one, volume 3. Where's volume 2? Maybe there was a volume 2, I've just never seen a copy of it. But it's strange, but the artwork's great. And actually, weirdly, this is, I don't know, 52 pages, but unfortunately it doesn't even have page numbers, so it could be a 52 page. But you've got a really quite long story here. So I was quite surprised, and that was issue 4. Obviously, $1 back then. I think it was 50p at the Comic Mart. Really pleased to pick this. Now, I don't know how many stories are in this series. Might be 10, 15, I can't remember. So hopefully I'll pick some of those up over time. You see them occasionally. Now this is one that I still cannot understand why there's no omnibus, or probably never been omnibus, to be honest. Captain Savage and his Leatherneck Raiders. I think they changed the name to Captain Savage and the Raiders. That's probably a bit of a mouth. Leatherneck. But still, that's issue 6, obviously one of the early issues. And I've got a few now. I haven't got all of them, but I would love to see a complete, or more likely, epic collection of those. And the artwork's, of course, brilliant. Dick Ayers. Good old Dick Ayers there, lettered by Artie Semic, etc. Now, of course, it's probably not as good as Sergeant Fury. Now, I really love Sergeant. I'm really looking forward to the Epic Volume 2, but I would love to see, like I say, an epic collection for this. I was pleased to pick this up, Creatures on the Loose. Now, I've seen this, I think, a copy in Dave's Comics in Brighton. I thought, oh, I must buy that, but I haven't been down to that for ages and ages. So as soon as I saw this one, I thought, yes, the coming of King Kull, and it was like £5-6, something like that. Issue 10, absolutely brilliant. The Skull of Silence. And great thing about it, brilliant artwork from Bernie Wrightson. I think that was the only one he ever did. But really, really great little story. It's quite a very short story, but still an absolute brilliant story. Always love his artwork. You can see Bernie Wrightson there. It's just nice to pick up the first issue of King Kull. Obviously not particularly one that's considered a holy grail for comic collectors, but I still like it. It's really, really good one. And you, of course, got the good old Mighty Marvel checklist, and you can see what issues are around. 108, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man 94, etc. Also Amazing Ventures 5, I should say. And also, of course, got all those Where Monsters Dwell, Where Creatures Roam, Where the, what's his name, went to shopping, those sort of magazines that came out, loads of them. And also, you've got another story, of course, there, Troll, the Inhuman. Oh no, the Unhuman. My apologies. The Unhuman. The Unhuman. Whatever. Still, brilliant bit of Kirby artwork. And of course, the story's really great. It's always quite just unusual. Well done. It's, well, variation of a certain sort of story. But of course, this was done a lot earlier. Now, I don't know when this was actually first printed. Does it say? No, it doesn't say. Quite often they always say reprinted from a certain issue. That must have been, of course, back in the early 60s, maybe late 50s, I guess. But still. And then you've got, of course, the comments pages at the back. I always love reading those. Always great selection there. You've got there the Barry Smith, the Righteous, Richie Buckler, and Madcap, etc. And also tomes from the Tower, which is always good. I was just thinking that was the Scrolls for a second. I don't know why, but still, you've got there. The first story is good, etc. Tower of the Shadows, issue 6. Oh, did they? They must have. Yes, they did. They renamed it. I wonder why they went for Creatures on the Loose. I think it was Tower of Shadows. Very strange. But still, really pleased I got that issue. This one's an unusual one. Mighty Marvel Western. They produced a few of these that were quite oversized ones. 10p, obviously TMP. Oh, that was one thing I was going to mention. I loved the joke that was on the first comic, the second comic I showed. He had a TMP, 1 shilling, which was just great. I just thought it was a real nice touch. And you've always got that TMP, these back in the 70s, just great. So 12th issue, and you got here, and there's a number of different stories. Kid Colt, obviously 2 Gun, and Rawhide Kid, and lots of great, of course, Kirby artwork as well as many others. Now this one's Kirby and Ayers, and sometimes they say, sometimes they don't. You have to really struggle to find it. Oh, there it is, just down the bottom there. As you can say, Kirby there. There's another story, The Defeat of Rawhide Kid. And there's another one here. I expect that one. Oh, there's Kid Colt. You can certainly see that's an old one because of the style. Kid Colt definitely done that sort of 3D extruded style. I don't know who the artist was. Doesn't seem to say. Not very good when it sort of working out the artist names there. Also, you got that one. They called him. Oh, poor old. You got all those ones, but they didn't include this one. Durango. Poor old Durango. Why wasn't he on the front cover as well? So there you've got Dick Ayers, etc. So you've got that story, and you've also got another story, just get to the back there. The artwork was really good. I love these Western comics, and I really especially loved these sort of lovely 25-cent ones that they brought out. And again, this has got some great issues you can see there. Fantastic Four, 106 this time. Spider-Man 92, Avengers 83, that was a classic issue. Thor 183, and also Captain America 133. And I love these ones as well. 104, get all this. 104 Marvel Arts Masterpieces. Wow, that was pretty good. This is what you get. Favourite superheroes, villains, best covers, comic art page. I wonder how many people have got copies of that. I've never seen anyone ever mention those ones before, or even seen them at Comic Marts or anything. But still, only $1.50. Obviously not now, I'm certain. And also, of course, you've got the good old Now on sale. You've got there the Daredevil king size, as well as Marvel Tales starring Spider-Man, obviously the classic Green Goblin story. Now, I've got a few art ones as well, which I went to an exhibition. This was brilliant. St Francis of Assisi. This was at the National Gallery in London. Brilliant, really quite large exhibition. I was quite impressed, obviously, and it was free, which I love. It's always great when you get a free exhibition. And this is just an absolutely stunning book, just great, full of some very unusual things. Obviously, one of the more famous ones, but this book is really nice, really captures the exhibition as well. And it's also got tons and tons, obviously, of information about Francis of Assisi, which is really nice, as well as lots of things that didn't end up in, obviously, the exhibition. Obviously, pretty tricky to actually have pictures of the place itself, Assisi. And they've obviously got examples here, some just absolutely stunning examples there. So you've got this book, is just great, real nice quality book. And one great thing about this, member of the National Gallery, so you get a 10% discount, which is nice because it was £20 down to £18. And I love picking up art books like that. This one's great. Epic collection, The Invincible Iron Man. This came last week. This one, all the comics I've been showing were from the Comic Mart up in London. It was a really good Comic Mart. I really loved it. It was really friendly, great wandering around, chatting with the old person, and it was just brilliant. Just great selection of stuff, lots of things. Now, I could have bought lots more. It's always the way. Quite often I go there for about an hour and I think, afterwards, should I go back and buy some more? No, you just got to sometimes not get everything. But this one, of course, Barry Windsor Smith, or Barry Smith at this point, I think. But also got Firebrand's story, Iron Man. There were some really good stories in this one. I love that one. Great little story there. And also, this was some of the earliest stories that I got from Iron Man. Issue 58 was the Mandarin story, which I really, really loved. 59, that's this one. Here it is. That was the first Iron Man American comic that I ever picked up, Mandarin and the Unicorn. I didn't know who the Unicorn or the Mandarin was at that point, but it was still a great story. Now, the one thing about these epics, which I think is always great, is you can read them in order. And you've got here, see, 57. So you can actually, I didn't read 57, so I didn't know what happened in the previous story. And I don't think I picked it up. Don't think I ever had that copy. I love the other one as well, this Rasputin one. But the thing is about this one is obviously issue 55. Of course, you've got the classic there. Now, these characters, not the greatest, but you've got Drax the Destroyer, you've got Thanos, and Thanos looks really, really weird in this. So this was a really great epic collection. Lots of great little extras as well at the back. So it's that. This is an old one. I love picking up Beatles ones. Just anything Beatles. I've got loads of books. This is just an old one. Now, even certainly all... Yeah, that's probably that way around. And you can see there the beginning, Beetle Mania, Beetle Gear. And I thought, you know what, that sounds interesting. So I thought, I will get that. It's got a lovely little story there. It's from Romeo magazine. Back in the 60s, of magazine Romeo. Also back in the 50s, it was quite a long-running comic. I don't know when it stopped, probably 1970s. But you've got here the Beatle fan club. You've got John the Fax, John Lennon, born, etc., etc., 11 stone, £5. They always put the weight. Did they always say the same weight, I guess? But they always put that. Also the schools, art student, and many others. Beatles holidays, you've got the good old The Show That Screamed, The Show That Didn't Scream, and so on. Great little, lots and lots of pictures, which I must admit, I've never seen before. So it's really quite a nice little book to pick up. And unfortunately slightly a bit battered, obviously, seen better days, but still a really nice, it's quite thin, but still, you know, an unusual book. And you say, there, Romeo there. What's it called? Beetleopedia. An unusual title. Totally related, The Beatles. And I love these ones, the Enemy originals. Just great. The thing is, I like about them is that they obviously run through all the way through the Enemy, and you've got lots and lots of obviously pages from the Enemy, obviously lots of adverts for various things, which of course I've seen, but you've also got the stories as they go through as it was, not sort of changed, not looked at later, because sometimes when you read these things, you know, it's obviously with hindsight, lots of things can be seen, but of course at the time when they're coming out, people can't see that. So Beatles, new suits for the USA, those sort of things. Fab Christmas show. Elvis is one of the lads, says Paul. So you've got the enemy arranges and telephone call, etc. And also you've got other ones, and also you've got like things like the charts as well. And they brought out a load of these ones, load of these magazines. I haven't got it unfortunately. I think I got rid of it. Rolling Stones one, but also I kept the summer London one, Swinging London. There was also a mod one. There's also a Bob Dylan one. They brought out a load of them. And you see again, you got as you go through these, you got all the charts. And now that was a pretty amazing. July the 28th, 1965, you've got Help, Mr. Tambourine Man, You've Got Your Troubles, We've Got to Get Out of This Place by the Animals, you've got the Ivy League, Yardbirds, you've got Joe and Baez, also you've got Dusty Springfield, Dave Clark 5, Searchers, I don't know who he was, Sam the Sham. That one completely lost on me, that one. But you can see some great charts. Also best-selling albums there. You've got Rubber Soul, Sound of Music, Mary Poppins. You always sort of have a vision that it's all going to be the Rolling Stones. But lots of the albums were like Mary Poppins and those sort of things back in the 60s. Almost There, Andy Williams. Tony Bennett, I Left My Heart in San Francisco. And so on. And again, it runs through a lot of these. Got charts, as well as lots of the great covers as well. Just brilliant little books, these ones. Really, really love these collections. This one is very good as well. I went to an exhibition, and unfortunately I haven't bought the catalogue for it yet. It was post-impressionism, or after-impressionism, I should say. That was at National. It's still going. I probably will get the book at some point. At the moment, it's quite expensive. I thought, I'll leave it a little bit until it maybe comes down in price. But Duran, that was the artist that I really thought, oh, wow, really impressive. But could I find anything that was reasonably priced about him? Nothing. There was just loads of books, like some 500, 600, 700 pounds. And this one I found, 1959. Lots and lots of information. Obviously, it's got lots of text there, which is always good. Lots and lots of detail. But you've got some great, look at that wonderful one of, obviously, Big Ben and House of Parliament, and also you've got lots of other paintings as well. Now they did have lots of other examples there. And I don't know. Of course, as always, when I turn the pages, I'm always turning the pages and trying to find a good example. But there was some really amazing artwork by him. I don't know if it actually has the one that I saw was just stunning. I can't find it. It's typical when I'm just looking through here. But what a great artist. So it was just nice to pick up a little book, reasonably priced and a bit tatty. But it's so hard. Some artists are like that. You think, you see an artist and you think, wow, that is one, you think that's a great artist, must find out more. You go and look for books about them. And it's just so expensive. I've been buying a few of these of late. Showcase Presents. And the reason I bought this was because it's Ramona Fradden. And I thought, well, I'm going to try and get this one. Super Friends. Finally, I found a copy. So I'm really pleased. I haven't read it yet. Just flicked through it. Obviously, the stories are fairly unusual. But you got there the Riddler, of course. And you got... Now, I didn't watch the series. I've been told apparently did turn up on the UK TV. I didn't watch it. Must admit, completely passed me by. But you got there Super Friends. And you can see Super Friends there. And Ramona Fradden there. It's just great. Just great little stories. And I am going to look forward to read all these ones. One thing, of course, that they never did in the showcase ones. They never actually gave you the listing of what was included, which is very odd. Quite often the essentials and things they did, or obviously omnibus ones, but you have to look inside. So you can see there Super Friends all the way up to issue 24, and you can see again Ramona Fradden, the artist involved, all the way through. Now another book I got purposely because it was Ramona Fradden, and that was this one, Metamorpho. Now I had this quite a while ago. I think this was one of the really earliest ones they brought out. Really odd choice, Metamorpho, the Element Man. But still, great stories. And again, Ramona Fradden, artwork all the way through. And of course it's in black and white. Why this has not been made available in an omnibus edition, I do not know. But still, it's really great still to have this copy. And you can see, will the real Metamorpho please stand up? And you can see, obviously, all the various people involved there in the storyline. And more examples there. And again, doesn't actually give any details about the issues. Though I suspect in this one, you've got here, some of them were like Brave and the Bold. So you've got Brave and the Bold there. You've also got Metamorpho 18, so of course he got his own magazine. Now, it didn't last very long. And I think this is all of them. Oh, he's got Brave and the Bold as well. At the end, it's got Brave and the Bold, Brave and the Bold. So Metamorpho 17 looks like was the last issue. And also continues on with Justice League of America issue 42. And Metamorpho pin up at the back as well, no less. Let's have a look. Oh, there's a Metamorpho pin up at the back. I love art books. Here's one, Johann Zoffany R.A., Society Observed, full of some really stunning examples of brilliant artwork from an artist that I did not know anything about a couple of months ago. I thought, wow, I must find out more. Saw one painting, this one, and I just picked up this book in Henry Paws. Very hard to find books. There's very few. And another artist, exactly the same. Now here, Rubens and Van Dyck and Jordaens. This one's actually in French. Didn't realise actually I bought it. I assumed it was in English, but weirdly it's in French. Now it's not just Jordaens, and you've got other artists as well. And this is the thing, quite often you find artists in these books and you think, oh, I must find out more about this artist, like Franz Schneider. I assume that's how you say his name. And so on. But it's just full of just brilliant artwork all the way through. And Jordaens is superb. I really, really love that artwork. And of course, I'm flicking through. Can I find any example to show? No. But still, he is a brilliant artist. And again, another one of those artists that's very hard to find anything more than one or two books. And lots of books, of course, that were probably 1910 or 1810 or something. So it's very hard to find much about him. Similar, this artist, Lovis Corinth. Now, I've got another book about him. Again, another artist. I saw one example in one book and I thought, oh, I must find out more about this absolutely stunning German artist. Really amazing. And this book is just full of lots and tons of information. And let's just quickly show some examples. As always, you never can. Oh, there's examples there. And that's another. But you've got lots and lots of text as well. Also, you've got examples there. Just wow, what a brilliant artist. Again, very hard to find any books. And the recent exhibition I went to, post-impressionism one, after impressionism I should say, that was just full of just brilliant artwork and had 3 paintings by him, which I thought was just great. Now I can't show those ones, just flicking through. Oh, that's a very unusual one there. And another painting there. So I just always have to flick to make certain the pictures I show are not. So there's that. But still, Lovis Corinth, really worth checking out, a really great artist. And finally, Quilter's Computers. Now, I really love, and I've over the years bought lots of books, and I do get rid of books often as well as keeping them. Adobe Photoshop 6, and that's the reason. I love collecting these old books of just computer graphics, and this one is just full of tons of Corel Draw 7, lots of applications and software that I've never ever heard of, and it's just fascinating. Also talking about clip art and cyberspace, talking about where you can find out more information and various internet relay chats, and also lots of examples like that. Pattern designs that you can obviously lay out, use for directions, quilt, etc. And many others. But again, lots of software, things that application SuperPaint. That's an application I have not seen for years. SuperPaint I probably couldn't even install it anywhere, and that's often the trouble. There was a great bookshop I saw in Seattle, and it had like millions and millions of software, tons and tons of boxes of software like Photoshop 1, Photoshop 2, and Painter volume 1, Painter 1, 2, and 3. But unfortunately, you can't really install it. Typistry, those sort of great applications. I love those applications. But now, a lot of them were on floppy disks. I haven't got a floppy disk reader, and probably they just wouldn't install because they're obviously 32-bit or 16-bit or whatever. Everything's moved on a bit. So you've got all these sort of like lovely tools, and I mean loads of tools mentioned in here that I've just never heard of. Electric quilt, sketchbook, and many others. Also how to create and edit a polygon in Corel Draw 7. Useful information, and this is a great book. I love this. I saw this for £1. And I pick up lots of these sort of books for £1 because they're just great, fascinating to read. And yes, what can I do with a computer? Quite a bit, a fair amount. Make YouTube videos. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed the Comic Mart up in London. That was great on Sunday. It was brilliant. I don't know when the next one is. Can't wait for that. I always look forward to them. It's by I don't buy as many as I used to. I must admit, sometimes I'm definitely looking for a certain set of comics now, and sometimes I go there. Of course, you find them, and then you're really pleased. Afterwards, sometimes you don't always find the ones that you really think. But I'm always looking. They had some lovely Dutch ones, but they were quite expensive. I was really quite surprised at how expensive those were. If they'd been slightly cheaper, I probably would have bought one or two as an example, because I do love foreign sort of comic books. Obviously, they're American ones, but they're obviously done foreign. They're just done in a different way, a different style. And I was thinking maybe next time, maybe like Danish ones. There's a lot of Danish ones, Swedish ones, French ones, Finnish ones. All those sort of things are always fascinating to pick up. Or obviously Australian ones, Chinese, whatever. Just great, and they do turn up occasionally at Comic Marts, and it's always good to pick up one or two examples. But other than that, I hope you found this quick run through of all my books of interest. I will obviously do another book haul at some point in the future. Bye.